Anyway, yeah, that should be the start of our podcast every time.
Do you know what? Someone complained we didn't have a jingle.
Welcome to the No Parents Club with Estelle and Hannah.
Right between
Lord have mercy.
Okay, so we're here at No Karen's Club and we're with Ope and Callum.
Hello, lovely.
Hello.
Bonjour. I'm a Gemini.
I'm Spanish. Hola.
¿Cómo está? No one gonna answer me. Cool. Fine.
And what are we chatting about, Hannah? We're going to chat about...
We're talking about body image.
Specifically for males, which is interesting.
Specifically.
I don't know.
Specific.
No, only because I don't know the male perspective on body image very, very well. So I thought, you know what, let's...
Well, actually, when we were planning this the other day, I did ask some people, some guys, what they thought, what their quick thoughts were on body image. And they basically say it's a woman's problem.
It's mad. Yeah, that's what they've said.
They say it's a woman's problem and that it doesn't really apply to men.
I mean, that's definitely a lie.
They said it's only a guy's problem if you're 10-ton Ted.
Wow.
10 ton Ted.
And then
savagery.
And I was just
the
like,
alliteration.
Poetry. And I was just a bit, I don't necessarily think that's the truth. So we thought we'd ask some guys.
Some of the manliest men that you know.
We are. Just
So-
a couple of lads.
What I think that's actually an indication of is that with anything with men, we don't like to speak about how we feel. I think in general. I mean, I'll speak about how I feel, but I think in general terms.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of men do care about their image, but it's seen as like you don't want to say that you care about what you look like because that's that's what girls do. That's what girls care about. But obviously, boys do care what they look like.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have trims every 3 weeks.
It's exactly why I'm wearing the hat as it is right now. I'm wearing my hat
because we're how many months?
You know what I mean?
It is what it is.
But I think as well, when you ask guys about body image, they think about literal fitness. That's it, full stop. Or literally body image. Not all the little things that go into body image. Just as a sweeping statement, they're like, that's a girl's problem. Because, I mean, I would say it is more of a media problem for women, but I wouldn't say that it's not a problem for men. I think that it is massively a problem for men also.
It's definitely a problem for them. And I think of it like this, like, so I used to be 18 stone. And I know the sort of confidence I used to have when I was 18 stone. When I lost weight and I started feeling better about my body.
Bam!
Confidence.
Confidence. You start speaking to people. You get into conversations more.
Yeah.
Like, I used to be a lot shy. Like, I wouldn't want to have a conversation.
Jesus.
You know what I mean? It's like a different person. It's like a different person. So I don't. But it's all about. It's like you said, Callum. It's like vulnerability. Like, men don't like to seem vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like, and obviously that comes from. Historically, it seemed like you have to be the guy, you have to be the man. So when it then comes to conversations of, I want to look good, there's this sort of stigma. So men don't talk about it, but behind the scenes, but you know, like we feel a certain way about it because obviously there's guys that want to have abs, there's guys that want the big arms. You know, there's the guys who go on a night out and got the shirt that's maybe 2 sizes too small for them. You know?
Buttons are busting.
That's body image right there. Like, but there's just different. But obviously, like you said, I think from a feminine point of view, there's a media thing about it, and women seem to. You get sort of magazines that go, "Oh, she's put on a bit of weight since she's had a kid. She needs to lose a bit of weight." So I hardly see magazines that go, "Oh, a guy needs to do that."
There's less criticism, I think, about it. And I'm not saying it isn't there, and there still are some standards that you see that are unachievable, the same as men, the same as women. So if you imagine like superhero movies, for example, it's perfectly sculpted.
Hey, it's wham.
Do you know what I mean? And it's the same thing, but I do think, obviously, I think girls probably are subject to these standards a bit more and are more subject to criticism.
I would say it's in different ways. I would say for men, it's more like you say in films, programs, etc. For women, it's advertisement. You sell sex.
Instagram, I think Instagram doesn't.
Instagram is a massive thing, but I would say that's pretty even Stevens on like as far as image and putting out this perfect body or whatever. I would say there's just as much fitness pages directed to men as there are to women,
There is.
but it's whatever you look at. Obviously, as a woman, I'm looking at the women's ones because that's directed towards me,
Yeah.
and
a
I'm
lot of men,
following that.
and a lot of men
And
look at that.
exactly, a
I
lot
feel
of
like
men.
probably the male ones probably have less of a following.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Because
because
women-
sex
Hey,
sells.
Women, I
at the
don't
end
think
of
you
the
are.
day.
It depends who you are.
yeah, don't look through my following because you'll see a lot of men on there.
So, but yeah, I think it's in a completely different way. Like you guys have it more in the sense of TV shows, media, in that way. But women do have it. I would say it's more common in a day-to-day life.
Yeah.
I think it's more subtle for guys. So going back to what you said about the t-shirt
that's a
thing,
good way of putting it.
I remember one of my mates saying to me, he's like, oh yeah, you know, like guys buy shirts that are smaller for
Yeah.
but it's like, I was like,
Wait, what?
what?
So
Yeah.
you were actually like,
They go
I thought
out.
people maybe had done that by accident.
So
Nah.
let's say, like for me, if I bought a size that's too small for me, I'm not fitting in it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. I can't, like, I won't.
It's
I
the
call that
exact
like mutton
opposite.
Yeah, I
dressed as
won't
lamb
fit.
if you're trying to like squeeze
Exactly.
a boob into
Exactly.
it.
Exactly.
You know
That's,
what I
that's
mean?
probably a
Yeah.
good comparison though. It's more
Yeah.
dressed as lamb.
Yeah.
These boys are literally
Yeah, but they're like that. And I
But-
just generally think, like, me being like naive, I'm just like, oh, they've got big muscles, but nah,
You
their
buy
shirt's just small.
I'll give you an example. There's one of my mates when we were going on a night out. The day before we go on a night out, we'd go and train chest and arms. Because on your night out, you want the chest and arms to be, you know, a certain weight. Because obviously, there's certain things that attract the opposite.
That is so
sex.
funny.
Do
That's
you
like
think
me
that
the
makes
day
a
before my
difference?
holiday doing like 100 crunches.
just praying. Just
Do you
praying.
know
Come
what
on.
though? To be fair, I know girls. I learnt this in, I think it was in like sixth form or college or something. That girls take a fuck ton of laxatives before the day before a night out.
Yeah, but I'm not being funny. So even like, even before lockdown, I'd like, not laxatives, let's not like.
I thought you had to come out
No, it
confessions.
ain't laxative. But I'd back green tea because it's good for your digestives.
Oh yeah,
Hey.
but that's
Honestly.
Speed things up.
anti-bloating.
Yeah, so like I could be like drinking pre-drinks, back green tea.
Oh yeah.
100%. Obviously, laxatives
We get
a
the
bit.
peppermint in.
That's a bit
That's
mad.
just to make you feel good though about the night. Like,
but it's like anti-bloating.
No, it's that anti.
innit?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
God help you if you've had anything that
A
bloats you.
piece of
inside,
bread
like
before you
bit
go
of
out.
cheese.
So
Honestly, I
Piece
can't
of
be going
bread,
out looking like I'm with
pasta.
child.
Whose mum? I think Jess's mum used to make us eat before we'd go out.
And you'd be
And
like,
it was never a care for me. I'll eat bare. Like,
yeah, I'll be alright.
and Jess was
Yeah,
like,
that's
I'm
what
not
I
doing
know.
it. She's like, you're gonna be on your ass. Jess was just like, but I will be
But you-
skinny. I look good doing it. I don't know if it was Jess' mum, it was someone's mum, but it was funny.
That is really funny.
No,
Yeah.
I get the point. I think what just makes it difficult is we don't talk about it as much, and we don't. I wouldn't necessarily say we get called out for it as much, but you'd get like, for example, I don't know what's his name, Leonardo DiCaprio recently, he had the dad bod, and for a while that became a thing.
And that's mad though. That even what is historically seen as not the ideal standard of men's physical, like the pinnacle of physical achievement for men, and what to look like. This dad bod, a bit bloated, a bit beefier.
Yeah.
That's still
It's
celebrated.
celebrated.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, people think
And
that
I'm
like.
behind
I
that.
swear
because
there's articles that say literally like women love a dad
Dad
bod.
bod, yeah.
And to be fair, do you know it's so funny because when guys will be like, oh, what's your type or whatever, and they expect you to be like muscly, like I want all
No,
the
you want some
muscles.
cushion for
And
the
then
cushion.
literally, for me, as long as you're not
Cushion for
skinnier
the
than me,
cushion.
because that would bruise my ego. Like, that's fine. You can
Hey.
literally have like a bit more cushion for the push, and that's not an issue to me. But like, I think because guys say that to me, I assume that that's something that they're very conscious of.
Definitely.
That's
And
true.
that it is a little bit crazy, and you're the same as well. You're like, I can't stand muscles.
It's just a bit frightening. Like, it's like,
Don't
no,
admit.
no, honestly, I'm like, I feel like if you give me a hug, my spine could break.
Yeah.
I don't, it's not comfortable. It's not, it's just a bit overwhelming.
It's
Yeah.
really useful when you're
Pretty
lifting
much.
furniture.
Really useful with furniture.
Furniture, yeah, or like opening the bottles of rum.
Opening the caption market.
To be fair, I always get Callum to carry my shopping.
All the time.
What a man,
Also,
what a
it's
man.
a 2 minute walk, and I'm still struggling. I mean, look at me.
At one point, he dragged it
I
down.
ran it, and then it was like, you know, one of the big bag for life.
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
started to like the concrete had just like eroded away, so there was like you could see the tin
The
cans
food starts
coming
come
through it.
out of
I was
it.
like,
Oh
oh
my
fuck.
gosh.
I just carry like this
Dying.
now. Yeah.
Oh gosh, but yeah, I think it is actually quite interesting because I've never thought of it from a male perspective. I think you have to like kind of pick up subtly how like guys think about that, because I'm just like, well, if they're not saying it,
it's almost, I think it's almost the opposite for guys though. I got a lot of stick. That was me being PG for the podcast. a lot of shit. Younger. I didn't care about. Sorry, I just thought it's not me. It's not me. It's not me. A lot of stick.
That's it.
A lot of shit, but it was like it never for me. I've always been tough, and I'm not saying it's not like this for everyone, but I've always been a bit tough with banter in it.
yeah,
But about being skinny. I remember once I was really hungover after a night out, and we were literally at 14. This guy's 15 tweeting this. It's not a big deal, but he said something like, "I feel bad for the guys at the party last night whose arms didn't even fill a medium-sized shirt." Like, and I was like, "Me, bitch!" Like. And I used to feel so embarrassed about being skinny, and I was like,
really? I can't imagine you like that.
But
as well,
that's the thing.
Your catchphrase is literally skinny legends.
because now, like, and I used to ride with it and like joke about it, and like,
and really, you're crying inside.
and I was for a couple of years. I thought I went to the gym bare when I was 15, and I thought, and I had no one there to teach me how to do the gym apart from the girls I went to the gym with. So they were like, just do this, use the ellipticals. Oh yeah, because that's gonna help me gain. But I was doing it thinking I'm gonna get muscles.
Looking like the call on me fucking
Fully
music
just
video. Like,
living my best fantasy, and I was
so
like, this
sorry
is
for
all
laughing
I'm
as
doing.
hard as I am. I'm so
all I'm doing is burning more calories. So, and then when I started to kind of learn about stuff, I was eating well when I first started uni, but as best I could, and trying to work out as much as I could, which is again seems like a million years ago from how I am now. And I did put on a bit of weight at the very start of uni, like good weight, and I just wasn't. It was miserable. I'm not one of those people that can go to the gym every day and enjoy it. I hate it. It
eating
makes me
chicken,
think,
broccoli, and rice. Ugh.
Yeah, that's
Do you know
tough.
yeah.
I always
I
see
tried
like
that.
these
No.
like beefy boys.
These
No, I mean like
boys.
these beefy boys thing, and he's plain chicken breast. They're like a bit of seasoning, salt.
Salt and pepper.
You can guess which race they are as well.
Oh.
Caucasian, and like broccoli, and I'm like, that's shit, and I don't want that. I was like, if I
every day.
I eat meals I
Every
enjoy, I'll stay
day.
skinny, and I don't care. I've learned to like my body. I was like, you know what, I'm skinny, but I'm also 6'3", so.
Hey, living your best life.
So you know,
I
my
think
Instagram's _ Callum Morris, you know him.
Honey, it will be at the bottom. It's at the bottom already. Don't worry.
I think what makes it different is like, so I came from the other way. So I used to be like I said, when I was younger, up until I was about maybe 17, 18, I was maybe about 9, 10 stone. I wasn't that. Obviously, I grew up in Africa. Like there were skinny mans. That's how it was going. But I came to England, and obviously you start getting pizza. You get your takeaway, your stuff that my body just wasn't used to. So after a while, I just blew up. So I was 18 stone.
I just cannot imagine that. Like, I cannot imagine you at 18 stone.
But this was the reality. And I was walking around and it was not... But the good thing about it that I would always say, and I say this to my mates all the time, none of them ever made me feel like I was overweight or anything. Like, no one even... I look back now and I go, oh, geez, what was going on? But, like, to everyone, it was just normal behaviour. It was just, we'll order pizza, we'll order Nando's.
Yeah.
I buy about £40
It's like the
worth of
culture
Nando's
here,
to
isn't it?
myself.
Like
Hey, this was
food.
the culture. So... After a while, I got to a certain bit, but obviously that started affecting not just how I felt about myself, but then my mental health as well. So I was like, okay, cut back. So now people think, for example, that, Opie eats broccoli, rice, whatever it is. No, Opie just eats normal food, but because he used to be bigger, so because I'm obviously eating less than I used to, I'm naturally losing weight. So I then get to a place where I'm like, you know what, I'm comfortable at this weight. So I'll stay at this weight. So it's a little bit different. Like, so most people think I've got to looking a bit bigger from the hard work, but it's more I've just reduced how much I used to eat. So I've then got to a weight, and then now I'm surrounded by people that are like, oh, do you want to play football? Do you want to do this? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on my fitness. And now I have to put a jumper on to look a bit bigger. This is where we are.
But then I think that definitely at least shows that there is definitely a standard there for men that we want to achieve too. Because from both perspectives, from someone that was bigger and someone that's skinnier, we both wanted to hit this kind of middle ground that is seen as this ideal for men, which is there. As much as people maybe don't want to talk about it and boys don't, you know, oh, I'm not. What do you mean? Like, I go to the gym and work out because it makes me feel good, like whatever. But they want to look a certain way. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look a certain way. There's no shame in caring what you look like to other people and how you present yourself. Like,
as long as it makes you happy.
And I think that's with what a lot of boys struggle with.
You know what's interesting though. So when you start losing weight, you think you're doing it for the women. But I'll tell you this right now. So let me say, for example, I put a topless picture up on Instagram.
Oi, you can find it there.
Let me see I did.
See that at the bottom.
Well, let me see I did. If you count the amount of likes, there are more guys liking pictures. Or let me say I put a story up. There are more guys responding to the story than there are women. I don't know if that's just guys.
There's a lot of like people that you're really close with, because obviously if they know like
the
journey that you are on, they're like happy for you, they're encouraging you.
But also I just think like generally I think the same sex tries that these days anyway, they never used to be like this, but they try and encourage, because we are more aware of the social issues around it, like the mental health issues around these certain things. Recently, I would say probably 2020 has really worked on that. Yeah, the last year has been like a real shit, but real amazing for other social issues. I would say that I'm not surprised that it's more guys, because even if I post like a fitness story in the morning or whatever, someone popped up to me the other morning being like, oh, how many guys popped up to this? And I was like, mostly girls. Like it's all my hype women. Do you know what I mean?
I always reply and I'm like, yeah, like, okay.
Like that's what I think 2020 has brought to the situation, is at least people are considering these things and they're like, do you know what, I see the work you're putting in and I respect that. Not even so much about the image, but just like what it's doing for you, and people want to support that.
I kind of disagree in an extent in terms of men though. Like, and I do think it's come a long way, but I think men just like don't compliment each other enough.
We still don't, but it depends on your circle.
That's
like we have a very different circle.
That's true.
I would speak to Lamar about something, I'll speak to Dre about something, you know, and they would go, oh, this is what you need to do. This is what we're gonna do. And there's this sort of, depending on what your goal is, we have a circle that's very much, this is the support we can offer you to get to that goal.
We have a good circle.
So
like, we are blessed.
I don't.
We've got biased perspective.
Hey, we have biased perspective. You know what I mean? So I don't always say, I don't look at it and I say to myself, oh, this is how everyone else is. But I know we have conscious decisions between each other, and we have conversations.
But you take that out of the circle as well. I think that's the main thing as well. For the people that obviously we're talking about and that we know within the circle, like if you saw Lamar in the gym, we're all hyping. Like
good to see you. Love it.
Like literally when we all go together, people are like staring because we're all hyping each other so much. Or even
what
like
a circle of love.
It is.
I'm sorry.
Do you know what? We have
what you
some
need.
gym
It's what you need.
sessions.
Good vibes.
We got some good gym sessions in. Like wow we could.
Wow, we could. Before Boris locked down.
Before Boris fucked us over. But I feel like you're all the type of people to take it outside the circle as well. You might see someone, you might like see Callum you don't interact with every single day, and you'd be like, you're looking good, do you know what I mean? Like give him that little boost.
He's alright.
And I think that goes like the extra mile in it for someone, that can actually flip someone's day, where you might be thinking, oh god, I actually feel like shit today. And like I know women have it all the time. You'll meet a girl in the bathroom or whatever and she'll be like,
nice,
god damn it, and you're
I'm like, oh my gosh, that's really kind.
I'm always the lone male outside waiting for my friends. I'm on a night out with 6 girls and they're Halloween with Jess, and they took turns in the toilet. 45 minutes. 45 minutes. They went, so we just made friends. She's telling this girl that her boyfriend's a cunt. And I was like, oh, sorry, that's the worst word.
We do not use that word on this podcast.
You can bleep that, bleep me out. Sorry about that.
Oh my god.
Did you see my face? I was like,
I swear like a docker, but we vetoed that word.
I didn't read the terms and conditions, sorry.
There's a...
But that's what it's like. Girls are like that with each other. You never like at pre-drinks on girls getting ready with each other. Like, you look amazing, taking so much.
I love it. Yeah.
If you
one
walk
girl
into
crying because she don't feel all up to it, and 5 girls telling her she looks like a queen.
And if you
love it.
boys, you just like like that T-shirt.
Yeah.
That's
height of.
That's as far as it'll go.
Like, you look
smart tonight. Like,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
Because literally when I saw Candice, I was like, "Hi, handsome. How are you doing? Do you know what I mean?" And then guys would be like, "Yeah, you're right." And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
But I think girls are like, "You queen, you slay. You are the queen of the night. You rock this shit."
Come
Men,
on, man.
who needs a man? Let's get like that's what they're like,
yeah.
and it's like consistent. And for me, it's a bit exhausting. I'm like, I've run out of compliments. I'm like, I like your toenail colour. Like, do you know what I mean? And boys are just like, yeah, mate.
But
like,
why?
You look smart.
Do you not
Nice to
like
see
it?
you.
Do you think it's weird?
I think
Do you think...
I don't know.
I think to a certain extent, there's that
What an
stigma of.
answer.
Unfortunately, I think some of the stigma is to do with not wanting to seem feminine.
Yeah.
That's honestly the truth.
Compliments of feminine.
Well,
A compliment to a boy can be seen as like
there's a
bit gay,
perception.
innit?
There's
You
a
know what I mean?
perception.
I can say it.
Do you get what I'm saying?
It's a bit gay,
No,
mate. Like,
There's a perception, like where, for example, I'll give you an interesting story. So obviously, where I grew up in Nigeria, and when I grew up in Nigeria, at the time, because of obviously issues in Nigeria, the notion of someone being gay was not something that was made popular at the time. So growing up, guys would say, you know, "Oh, you look good, you do this, you do that." So I came over to England, right? And it was about year 10, and he's still one of my closest mates now. But I was trying to give a compliment to a mate of mine called Louis Joel. And I said to Louis, I said...
Shout out, Louis.
Last name.
Shout out,
Hey,
Louis.
shout out Louis. Hey, getting married soon. And I says to him, "Oh, you look gorgeous." But I was saying it like in a way...
That's
You
so
would-
weird
you
for an
would-
English, but like
you-
that's weird.
Let me tell you something. For 2 weeks at school, I had to explain to people that, I was just trying
We
to be
actually shouldn't
complimentary.
laugh.
No, but that was the reality.
Well,
Every time I see
that's
you,
it,
you'll be like, "You look gorgeous."
You've come from
look
you come from a
gorgeous.
place.
Yeah.
You come from a place where being gay is not even a thing,
No.
so you would never be on your mind.
So
But
it's-
also at the same time, the adjectives that Nigerians use is
Oh, yeah.
spectacular.
we do it. We say
You look
gorgeous.
delicious.
Hey,
You look
If
gorgeous.
you said to me, if you turned around to me and went, "Oh, you look gorgeous," I'd think, "Well, I'm getting changed." Because I am still like a woman.
No, but that's just the way we. So when I said it to him, and he was like, "Bro," and then obviously he told everyone at school.
Tumbleweeds.
Yeah, he told everyone at school, and everyone was like coming up to me, and some people were avoiding me, and I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
That's actually so sad
But
in year 10 as well.
that-
Like,
that's-
that's
was
a
different.
pivotal point.
It was
in my
school was brutal. Hey. So I came over, and obviously we started having the conversation. But since then, obviously when I explained to him just where I'm from, it's okay to tell a guy.
It's actually mad as well because in
Yeah.
Notch you can get beat up for that. It's actually mad.
Let me tell you something.
Like, it's
I was having to
actually
avoid
mad.
certain people.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
that's
did that
how mad
happen
it
in
is.
Liverpool? Are you mad?
Oh yeah, it would.
Are you mad?
You don't make
watch the
certain.
Even if not like that, but the boys would be like,
Gorgeous.
"What?" Like if you said that to some of my boys, they'd be like.
That's what I was just thinking because I was like, because
Get
I
my
mean, I'd say to them I'd say to them jokingly, I'd be like, "Oh, you look pretty tonight." Like
You do say
Yeah.
that's the relationship we have. But I would never.
So someone you don't know.
Yeah, it was a random girl. I'd be like, "You look so nice." Like if we were
Yeah.
reading together, a random guy.
But that's the
Avoid eye
thing.
Your jaw spun.
You start to learn that certain, obviously, the British culture
yeah,
finds it difficult
That's
for a guy
crazy.
to compliment.
interesting.
I never-
As a guy.
Because I would never thought of it like that. I
That
would have
it,
almost.
to be cultural.
I would have almost have seen it. I assumed it would have been the
the
opposite.
way around. Yeah.
But
I think, but that's also, like I said, it's got Nigeria has some issues when it comes to like.
Yeah, but that-
homophobia.
yeah,
but
so
yeah.
that because those conversations never got had in Nigeria.
Yeah.
We never had the stigmas
Yeah.
that came with the
Yeah.
conversation.
That's really interesting.
So
Interesting,
you would just say
yeah.
something to, if you felt something about a guy, you would just say it.
Yeah.
Like it'd be like, for example, if you're saying to your girlfriend, "You look pretty," you know what I mean? So we would just have that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously, the further along the Western culture came into
yeah.
Nigerian conversations, you start to find that people have an
Yeah.
issue
With
because they
certain
assume
things.
you telling someone they look good or you making someone feel good about themselves,
Yeah.
and is an attempt to be
Yeah.
involved with them in a.
Yeah.
So
I can't believe that happened. I'm
Well,
sorry.
no, but it's
My
bad.
mind can't move on.
you know what? You know when Louis
I'm
when
literally
Louis
there.
sees this, yeah, he's gonna confirm it. I'm telling you, year 10
Louis,
at
if
school.
you're
Drop
listening,
a
please,
comment,
please
Louis.
comment on
He's
YouTube
gonna comment.
or
I'm
like
gonna get
DM
into-
us on
'cause-
Insta.
He's still right now. I would still consider him right now one of my closest mates. Like last year
Of course
before
he is. He's
COVID.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yes.
before COVID, we were supposed to go to Ibiza for his stag do, and we still have that same close-knit group from growing up that we've just kept ever since.
That's nice.
But it's just, when I think about it now, I'm like, yeah, guys do. But it's just...
like, from there as well, like, where did you go from it? Did you take a step back in saying those things?
Definitely.
Or did they take a step forward in accepting them? Or did you just sort of go, right, okay, this is not the place
for my close
friends? Gorgeous.
Close friends, they knew who I was and they knew what I stood for. And they knew, to me, complimenting a mate of yours is
it's not mad
normal
like that.
behaviour.
Yeah.
It's just that's just who I am. But to a randomer, then I knew that the stigma was there. So you don't just go up to a randomer and go, bruh. Like, for example, Drake came in earlier and I said, I love your jacket.
Yeah.
Like, I knew not to say that to, when I was growing up in Nottingham, I knew, be careful who you're complimenting, because guys take a compliment.
Even if it's their object.
Even if it's, because why you feel into...
It is so interesting how it's cultural, because even like going back to like the body image thing. So for example, my granddad, who's also Nigerian, like he thinks it's a massive compliment when you say to someone like you look fat, because it means like you're eating well. It means like you're
and
healthy.
You're rich in Nigeria.
Yeah,
that's
because
normal.
I remember he looked at me, he's like, you've gotten fat. And honestly, I did not eat that day.
That to you,
honestly, I know, but it's not. But he's not being offensive.
I know,
he's saying that I look good, I look healthy, or whatever. Like, even so, where I work, a lot of the clients, they're like from South Asia. So if you're skinnier, to them you look unhealthy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there's one guy who's like, "Oh, you look really sick."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You're not eating well enough.
Yeah. So I'm like, rude. Do you know what I mean? So it's really, really interesting just to like culture.
Even from a female perspective, like I remember my mom used to say when I was growing up, I would have conversations about weight with my mom, and she would go, in Nigeria, being a little bit on the bigger side.
I mean, she's got money.
Guys, because it meant you were loaded, you were from a rich family. So when you then move over to England, I used to say to my parents like, I'm quite lucky that we don't watch, those channels where like you get like the supermodels, skinny supermodels walking down there. I say I'm glad we don't watch stuff like that, because I can imagine the influence it would add on my younger sisters. Because I have conversations with people now and they go, for a while I used to starve myself because I thought this was what you had to look at. And then you think, how did that come about? And it comes from, like you said, media perspective, and the media consistently pushes this. But again, even in the British culture, 2001 times, being skinny was a thing. Now, it's all about having the big booty. You know what I mean? So, culturally, everything changes.
That's what I think's mad. I did some research and I googled. About men's body standards, or what was seen as the ideal body through history, and pretty much since the Stone Age, it's been a muscled, strong, well-built man. Apart from
evolutionary thing.
Yeah, apart like through ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, like all this, and then the one time where a bigger body for a man was seen as ideal was during the 1800s and early 1900s, when living standards were at their all-time low. And this is about, I think this is talking specifically about England, so I can't speak on a global level. And that was a sign of wealth and a sign of that you could afford to afford not just to eat well, but to have an abundance of food, obviously. And I think it's mad that through all of human history, we've had this one ideal of men's beauty standards. Yeah. And women's is so subject to change.
Honestly,
there's a book I've been reading called Sapiens, and he talks about how that concept of the male body is based on protection. So the idea, historically, before we became more civilized, even when we look at it from a patriarchal standpoint,
that's like
the idea
that
was
far back.
The idea was supposed to be, let me say, for example, women are supposed to be cooking and looking after their children. Men hunt. When animals attack your family, you need
a protector, strong person.
So that idea then gets portrayed.
It's evolution, isn't it? Yeah.
And over thousands of years, that patriarchal standard still remains the same. So we're still looking at a situation where now, like I said, men still think this is you need to have this.
But that is where it stems from, isn't it? Because that's like you said, physically back in the day, men are able to reach more physical achievements and are stronger than women. So when you're thinking of hunting and fighting and stuff like that, you're going to want someone that's physical. And then as we've evolved into societies, as we've known,
better society, better civilization,
and this idea has been pushed onto the institutions that we rely on today, the law, the police, the politics, like all that stuff. That's where it originally stems from.
I think because of the patriarchy's influence on it.
Sorry, I'm really
oh my god! Because of the patriarchy's influence on it, I think it's more rigid with men. Like it either is or it isn't.
Man has to be strong.
Women, it's subjective to what is fashionable
at the time,
what is desirable by men at the time.
We've got,
I think that's the bit.
In 10, 20 years.
Desirable by men.
Desirable by men drives a lot of.
It is so mad.
Yeah,
because like some girls can feel happy with their body 2 years ago and not 2 years later. And their body type may not have changed, but the fashion type at the time has changed.
If you look 20 years, you got heroin chic for the models in the 90s. It was literally skin and bones. And if you said to my mum, "Oh, your bum looks big," like if I
she would be,
and that is also
furious.
cultural as well.
I would never. But
that's cultural because my physique here, fuck, it's become fashionable because my childhood it was not the fashion.
Savagery.
But you go to different parts of the world and they'll look at you and they'll be like, "Ooh, God, the booty." Like, I don't know. They'll be like, "You need to."
I literally said to Hannah the other day, I was like, honestly, in 10 years' time, when small boobs come in fashion, we'll be laughing.
Yeah,
honestly.
On the like, titty committee. You'll all want to be a member then. Because like, it's funny because guys, when they ask you these questions, they ask leading questions. They'll be like, "Do you know how many times I asked like, but would you get a boob job though?" And I'm like, why are we having? Why?
I have asked that before.
To be fair, you have asked me. But it's one of those where it's like, because the fashion at the minute is to be hourglass, which is this, which is the titties and the booty. Well, I'm sorry, but
snatched waist.
Yeah, the snatched waist. But I'm sorry, but like they didn't grow like that. Yeah. But it's okay because I can go braless and I don't have a problem. I don't have back pain or whatever.
Come on.
This is all pros for me, but it's one of those where you have to learn to convince yourselves of the benefits because so many people try and influence.
That's what I did about me though. Like, I'm well skinny, but the reason that I'm skinny is because of my height. Like,
and you got a sick metabolism.
Do you know what I mean?
I wake up every morning. I look at my abs, and I think,
you know what he eats.
I know what he eats.
That's natural. That definition of natural. Again, I'm just gonna call him Morris.
I think part of it though, it comes with that acceptance.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
I found, so obviously when I'm having the conversation earlier, I said, I got more confident, but I think what actually happened was I started accepting where I was mentally, and then once you start accepting where you are, and okay, I'm gonna work. I know where I am right now, but I feel like I need to do a little bit more work. There's nothing wrong with wanting a good physique. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look good, but obviously it depends on. You can't tie your worth to how you look. Because once you start tying your worth to how you look,
it's a slippery slope, isn't it?
And when you start looking at the world as we are now with Instagram, you see the best of everyone. Like, for example, I would never post a picture of me when I'm bloated, but you know what I mean, when you see it on gram, it's always abs, but
it's so true.
That's the reality. But when people then look at it, a lot of people go, like, for example, I'll post something, someone mentions me and go, so what have you been eating? And a part of me, to be honest, I do lie sometimes because I'm like, because they ask me.
I love honesty.
I know, honesty.
They go, what have you been eating? I say, broccoli, rice, chicken,
raw kale.
And then if anyone wants to have a look at my Just Eat,
they'll be like, this is a bit sus.
Oh my gosh!
But that's the hard part as well. And I remember talking about it on a different episode that we filmed about like Maya Jama and how I think her impact on social media is so important because she will literally show herself at all stages.
Yeah.
She doesn't care. And like for me, I had to work up to convince myself for time just to post pictures without my makeup on.
Yeah.
Like, because half the time I think I'm catfishing people.
Yeah.
Because I'm out here, I've got makeup on, whatever. Like, the difference is massive. Callum will tell you, he sees me in the morning.
Yeah, but
like,
it's just about making yourself
yeah,
feel
but I
good.
try and erase that from my memory.
But
You know
like
when you get
it's-
trauma when you're younger, you just get rid of
And
it.
like
It does
I
not
am
happen.
Repress.
It's like a defense mechanism now to just be like, well, this is what you're getting in it. Like
But
you're
that-
gonna get trackies, you're
I-
gonna get no makeup, you're gonna get scruff, and just deal with it in it. But I still won't show myself bloated because oh my god, no, like.
But I think everyone picks and chooses the battles. Like everyone.
Oh,
has,
100%.
do you know what I mean?
There's some you're more comfortable with.
Yeah.
Oh, like you got to work up to it though, and
Yeah,
that's the first thing that I feel more comfortable with. But again, it's one of those things like with my body, it's one of those things you think back to when you were younger, and a lot of the stuff that goes on when you're younger has a massive impact on how you
does,
feel. It's
100%.
always the negative stuff that you remember more. And like going through like my younger days in school, like I weren't fit or healthy or not. Like I was healthy, but I weren't toned, skinny, beautiful, like all the girls in my
sure
school
you'll
or
be
whatever.
I'm sure you'll be before you.
Right.
Sure. But it's one of those things where like you have to grow into being accepting of what you are.
Yeah.
I
And
think
then-
that's same in it.
But you definitely think of all the little comments that people have
Yeah.
made.
I
Like,
remember
that's
that
the
tweet
more
from
important.
10 years ago.
If,
I'm like,
if someone had said to me, "Oh my god," like in like primary school or whatever, "Oh my god, you're beautiful," I wouldn't remember that anyway.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because you remember the
find it difficult
shitty
to
things, don't you?
Keep the good information. We tend to want to.
Yeah.
But that's
I did watch recently on Netflix about it's just a quite thing about memory, and it says the things that you remember the most are the ones with the most intense emotions. Like that's what
Yeah.
you recall most.
Yeah.
So obviously anything
That
that hurts.
sucks.
But with
Yeah,
but
pain,
yeah,
pain,
how do we
pain is more
rewire
intense.
this?
Pain,
Yeah,
exactly.
pain is
Pain
more
more intense
intense,
than
yeah.
love. Like
Yeah.
I don't remember what. I
But
had
that's
last
what I
week.
say to you.
Baggage.
But that's
Trauma.
that's part of it. You have to be. You surround yourself. That's I say to people all the time. Who you surround yourself with dictates how you feel about
yeah,
yourself.
so
Yeah,
important.
Don't get me wrong. We all have bad days, and you're gonna have days when I don't know. You're not feeling confident. You're not feeling good about yourself. But the company you keep and out. Because I tell you this. There's a mate of mine. We used to have jokes, and she was a girl mate of mine. And she would have other friends of hers that would make jokes about how she's chubby and she's, but they're not doing it like, well, to them anyway. They're not thinking they're being mean. They're just making a joke like, oh, you need to hit the gym.
Yeah, but to
But
me,
to her-
but for girls, I think
that's-
that's nasty.
to
Like
her,
they've got to know.
I
That's
think for
lie.
girls or guys,
That's
like you can't.
They know.
If
what
you
they're
want
doing.
to get
I know
someone
that,
to go to
but-
the gym, encourage
But
them.
with girls,
don't
if they've
get
made a
them
joke like that, they
down.
know what they're doing. I'm
I get what you're
sorry.
trying. I get what you're trying to point out.
So they think it's
girls-
banter,
Yeah.
but it's not banter because
It's not banter.
Yeah.
emotionally, even you think about it this way. You know, the people closest to
God
you
bless her.
is
I'd
the
be clapping
person
hands.
that you're supposed to feel safest with.
Yeah.
And if the people closest to you are the ones poking at
Tearing you
then what
down.
it's likely that you start feeling a little bit more insecure. I'll tell you this, like the people I don't know, they could say something about me online.
I'm not
Couldn't
bothered.
care less.
Yeah.
But someone I know says something, then I start assessing the whole situation. Like, could this
Yeah.
be true? But this is the situation. Like, you have to have your friends be people that support.
Do you know what's really mad, right? Because this makes me think, this is a really random tangent, but this is what it made me think of, right? Do you know X Factor, when you've got people who can't sing, and they're like, well, my mum and my dad and all my friends said I could sing.
Back you.
Exactly, and they've backed them so hard. And Simon's telling
That's
them...
open.
Yeah,
Ultimate
yeah,
levels
yeah,
of confidence.
And Simon's there telling them, you're tone deaf, darling. She's
You
like, well,
are
I don't care
dead.
what you said.
I've been singing.
My
I've been
mum.
singing all
Like,
around
I've been
town.
singing in front of my grandma since I was 4 years old. And I used to be there like, who's telling her that? But clearly, obviously, the people that
It
you have around,
works.
that's what you're listening to. So
Delusion.
if Simon says that you
Convince
can't
yourself.
sing, you ain't arsed.
But let your friends delude. Let that be the case.
Let your friends
Hey.
delude you.
At the end of the day, if one of my boys is good, hey, bro, you're looking good. Whatever you need to say, even if, for example, it's like
You've
that
got
joke.
nothing nice to say
You know-
though. Don't say
You know,
anything
you know
at
that
all.
thing where like
No.
they say to you, for example, if your girlfriend says to you, "Oh, babe, how do I look in this?" You always say, "You look amazing."
The
you know
way
what I
you
mean?
said that so serious, like
You always
you
always
have to
say you look because
Oh, I thought you went,
What-
I can see cellulite.
nah. What you say
that's
matters.
You, that's you. That's you. That's our friendship.
But that's the thing. You have balance of Callum and me. You know,
Yeah.
Callum. You know, pokes
No,
it-
no, I would,
Callum
I
be
would,
like,
I would never.
hate that outfit on you.
No, but it's
okay.
It's different though. It's different.
Honesty.
If you
Honesty matters.
if you're with your girlfriend, obviously if I one day I have a girlfriend, I'll obviously look lovely.
When hell freezes over.
If I think that an
I'll be like,
outfit
are you
doesn't look
alright?
good, then it doesn't, and I'll say that, but in a nice way. And I would never that's mad. I would never to one of my friends say, "Well, you're a bit chubby, you need to hit the gym."
Nah.
So say that
No.
I mean, say that to anyone is rude. But for me, saying that to a boy, I'll do some of our mates, I won't name names, but you pat the belly and go, "Oh, you're alright, you're eating well." Funny joke, and that's the relationship we have. I would never.
If you did that to me,
one of my
I'd never speak to you
one
again.
of my best girlfriends, I would never. I'd rather die.
But that's
And there is a way. If there was a way that if you actually reach a point that you're concerned about your friend's health and you think I need to think you would be better choices, then there is a way to approach it, and it's going to be an awkward conversation.
It's
encouragement.
I'm going on a walk. Do you want to come on a walk with me?
It's
not.
You need to come on a walk with me. You fat.
It's. I'm going on a walk. I need the company. Do you want to come?
But
with
this
me?
is like so.
levels.
So before lockdown, right? I was looking at some pictures and I thought, and I was messaging Kyle and Dre and I was like, why did you let me get like this? I was like, I'm so fuming because I remember back to the days where those pictures were taken. And I know, there's that as well. Oh my God. I was a heifer. And I was just like, no. I can say about myself. But I looked at them and I remember messaging Kyle like, why did you hype me on this day? Never let me get this.
But that's what
You
your
just done
friends do.
Tough Mudder is hard.
So I remember other days where we were watching like the 40 or whatever when we gone the pub, and he was like, "You're looking so good today," and I was thinking, boy,
But you know what? You know what I'll say to you about that.
You're gonna look good no matter what
hyping
size
like
you are.
this?
Look at your face and
But
your beautiful height.
it's a two-pronged sword, isn't it? Like I literally looked back and then I thought my friends did me dirty.
No, you know what I'll say to you about that? So there's different ways where that works. So for example, obviously, for a while they were it's like I said to you, I didn't realise I was big till a while. But the thing is, it never broke me, mentally. My mates made sure that I did not feel insecure
which is so
about
good.
because it's the insecurity that matters.
The issue, yeah.
So yes,
But I was insecure. I know I was insecure at the time. So like.
But let me tell you something. If Kyle and Dre were going, babe, you've put on weight.
How's that helpful for you?
No,
so
that's where I was going with this. So like, obviously, I got into working out whatever in April when after lockdown, and Dre is the one that got me into it. He's like, right, we're gonna get up every morning, we're gonna do Insanity and whatever. And I thought, nah,
it's
I'm
absolutely
not doing this.
no.
Avoids Dre and workouts at all costs.
But looking back on it now, that is the way to get one of your friends like fit, healthy.
Get him onto something.
And he weren't even doing it to like in that sort of way, like you look like a heifer.
I'm
or whatever.
sorry,
but
sorry.
it's that encouragement that
they
gets
both
you.
tried to get me on Insanity the other day.
You need to lick the sink as sorry, you've actually just brought that up.
Nah.
She was meant to start. I gave her 2 Monday chances, and she said the forfeit would be that she would lick the office sink. If not,
the reason why.
Do you know Estelle? Estelle,
I do
clean
know Estelle.
goddess.
Yeah,
licking sink.
She picked the forfeit.
So can I just say, the reason why that I didn't join Insanity isn't because I was too lazy to do it. There was loads of actual factors that came. No, there's loads of factors that actually came into it.
And we're not trying to get her to do it either because we think she's fat.
That's why I thought raw. So I was like, because you've actually both like egged me on about this twice.
It's for your it's so good with your endorphins and everything that's going on. No, I'm not having it. Like, people like to put up all these excuses, right? But when you do it, you feel so good afterwards.
It's a pandemic, and literally, I saw this study. I saw this study that says, right, if there is a risk of you having COVID, your lung capacity is now compromised.
This is what she brought
up for ages.
I'm not having it.
No, seriously, if you do exercise, you're doing. Shut up. You're doing lasting damage to your lungs.
That's not true.
Okay.
It is.
No, because I did Insanity while I had COVID.
Proven studies. Our fitness.
Don't even shake your head at me, bruv.
5 minutes,
Don't even shake your head at me, bruv. I'm not even joking.
No,
like,
what I'd say is this, right? Obviously, because of the pandemic, I'd say this to you. You take your time with it. You don't put yourself under unnecessary pressure. We have pressures all around us. But when I'll admit this to Dre and Hannah, when I did do the Insanity consistently, I did feel better about the lockdown. I'm not gonna lie, because it was the first lockdown, and obviously at the time I was struggling with, because obviously there was potential redundancies at work. To get up every morning and have something that I thought to myself, this is my challenge for the next. And I'll tell you this as well. I almost forgot there was a lockdown, because I would have like a challenge on a daily basis. That I was like, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this. And then I get up, and then for the rest of the day, I'm feeling good about the day. Now, the good thing about it then as well, there was summer. It was warm.
Whoa.
So I was happy to do the workout.
But do you not think though, like the way I'm just thinking, like 10 minutes in, I know I'm just going to feel like I want to die.
But that's but you big it up in your head, right? You big it up in your head.
Not in my head, it's whilst I'm doing it.
You've never done it.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm not doing it. Man's jogging on the spot and I'm done.
You didn't do the new one that we sent you.
No.
You did the 60-minute one, but there's a 30-minute one, and it's got a moderation so that you don't have to feel bad. There's
and
levels.
To be fair, the guy usually says, "Oh, if you can't do this, you can do this."
Yeah, he's like,
they even want to do that
as long as it's lying down.
Yeah.
But like, so the reason why we do it obviously is for that endorphin boost. Like, I feel so much better going into work every day once I've done inside.
I wouldn't make it in, hon. I'm sorry.
But that's what I thought. I fought Dre so much. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. Like, stop getting on my back. Like, leave me alone. I'm not doing it. And then he was like, right, a group of us gonna do it. So I was like, fine, we'll do it on Zoom.
Brilliant, got an audience.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. But you know what? It was such like an encouraging thing.
It does.
It was so encouraging, because like if we I'd be slacking or whatever, we get Lamar or Cash being like, Hannah, come on, you're doing it, like great. And I was like,
I can hear this.
Right,
so
okay. Wait. So me and Dre don't really have that relationship. We're not as nice to each other as the encouraging group one that we had.
So
it's me screaming at Dre being like, stop being lazy.
In summer when
or Dre shouting at me for the same.
I heard her. I had my window up in the middle of the summer. I could hear her next door. So like, our rooms are pretty much touching. And I wake up at like 7 a.m. and I can hear her going, "Come on, Dre! Come on! We're nearly there! And I'm lying there thinking, Jesus Christ. Please, someone shut this woman up. I'm like gonna lose my head. Come on. And then there's a bee! And she's screaming that there's a bee in the room.
And I'm like, screaming at me as well, like, carry on. I'm like, there's a bee!
And I'm like, this is my day now. I finish work at 2 a.m. and I'm like, back up for 8 because Hannah's got a bee in her room. Great.
You know the thing.
So that's the motivation that you need, guys.
I'll tell you this as well, though. Linking back to the body image stuff. Obviously,
we digress.
No. I was actually planning last year. I was planning on going to Ibiza for my mate's stag do, and when we're doing the workouts in that first lockdown, the image in my head was Ibiza.
Yeah,
that's
we have Barca boards.
Shredded. I am ready. this is what, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So when people say to you, guys don't have, I don't know. Obviously, I can't speak for every guy, but from the perspective of a guy as myself, would I like to turn up to IB for abs to,
Yeah.
Yes. So if that's not a sign of a body image issue, then I don't know what is. The fact that I'll be going on holiday, where by the way I'll be drinking copious amounts.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure I get there.
Yeah.
And on the day that you arrive, your perfect body, and
Just
then whatever
diminishes.
happens,
And then
there
midweek, you'd be like, nah, midweek.
I made it to
that's all right.
Ibiza with abs. I don't know what's going on when I leave. That's how
You
it's
put all
going.
these trunks on a photo shoot on the first day, just swapping trunks. No, but even Jess did a season in Ibiza, and she said you would love it, and I know that I would. It's my type of kind of vibe for a holiday, but I would never go. I was like, I can't, because as well, not just what you look like and stuff, but the kind of people that do go.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I'm just a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's that.
There are those boys.
What sort of
a
people
bit,
go?
The kind of is. No, and I'm not speaking for everyone, but there is a thing of, if you think about how influencers are. I think if you met any influencer, whatever that means, on a day-to-day basis, I don't think there'd be a person that you particularly
like. Yeah.
And I agree with
Lord have mercy.
But what I would say though, these ladies are going to be influencers soon. So
God bless you.
because.
But
See, this is the sort of hype man you need in your
I'll clarify
life.
then. When I mean influencer, I mean an influencer that is promoting looking a certain way,
Yes.
and there's an
How they
idealism,
look.
there's an elitism behind it.
So do
I
you
wouldn't
think?
I wouldn't want to go to a place that I felt like
I had
even
to be-
me, who's confident in my body, you know me, I walk around half naked all the time.
It's true.
It's my body. It's my body. It's how I'm built. It's how I look.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna look like a Greek god.
I mean, you are 6'3". Like.
Exactly.
You got the
That
perks.
that does
Kings
you know,
only, you know what I mean? King shit. But
He's got a long way to fill.
but there's like I'm never gonna be like sculpted thingy, and that's fine. But for me to go there, even for me, would be like, oh god, I don't look like this.
Yeah.
I'd have my flowy shirts on like this all the time.
Do you think there's like a responsibility on people like influencers and people in the social media to show a different side or have more representation for guys? Because
I think there's
we know the girls' argument, but
I don't think there's responsibility for any individual on Instagram. If you want to present yourself in a certain way, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to present yourself as this sculpted god that doesn't drink apart
what
from
if
when
you're
he goes to
editing
the
your
beef,
pics?
if you're editing your pics, that's fine.
no, it is.
It is a bit mad because I see both sides, because I see the side of where you have women who are airbrushed to an inch of their lives, especially by the people that are putting it out there, where it's giving girls unrealistic body shapes to attain to. But also at the same time, I think we had this discussion a couple of weeks ago on a podcast where it's not really down to the person themselves to be conscious of what they put out because they don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But that's the thing.
There's also the concept of, I think the part that we always miss when it comes to the body image is the health side of it. Yes.
Okay, I actually wanted to get onto this.
You should never shame someone for how they look. But there is an importance to being healthy. There's an importance to looking after yourself, even from the physical standpoint, because the physical standpoint definitely affects the mental standpoint. So I don't like to say to people you have to look a certain way, but the feel that comes from
Be a certain
working out and that physical, like, don't get me wrong, yes, there's a guy, I'm not saying a guy needs to have 6-pack abs or whatever it is, but there is nothing wrong with hitting the gym. There's nothing wrong with going for a run. There's nothing wrong with doing some, we know
how I feel about running.
But about running. But to that, so I don't. So when you look online and you see the images of, this guy's airbrushed to fuck and he's just 6-pack abs, but he's not really his abs. I don't know. You're not really sending a great message out there. However, in comparison also to, let's just be us and let be yourself. Well, there is a part of ourselves sometimes that's self-destructive. So when we're looking at a situation where someone's like, throughout this whole lockdown, it's been lockdown, so I've done this, and you come out at the end of lockdown, you survive COVID, but now you've got diabetes. You know what I mean?
You hit him with the diabetes.
There's different concerns, if you get what I mean. I'm not talking about someone with diabetes. I'm just saying.
So with that, with like, say if you were actually representing like the average male body type and not these like glorified whatevers, do you think that is maybe glorifying being overweight or anything like that, or do you think that you should have a range?
There are some people that do glorify being overweight because they look at it as, I'm being myself, and you don't want to change. I'm not going to change for anybody, and I'm not going to do a workout or whatever. Yes, you're being yourself, but I'd like to check out your heart arteries, for example. How you doing? You know what I mean?
Because there are some people that look overweight that do have a healthy
and this
diet.
this is where the look is different. Because let's be honest, people say it all the time. You can look skinny.
Sorry, like, I'm just there, but you you
just make me laugh. Sorry.
But the idea is that you can look skinny, but still have health conditions.
Yeah.
You can be quite on. I know guys that, for example, are like weightlifters that are maybe like, I don't know, 18, 19 stone, 17.
Jesus,
yeah.
But that's also pretty unhealthy. I know guys that
people that like if you
steroids.
The big guys, world's strongest man, they're not healthy.
No,
the amount of they're having 4,000 calories a day.
Especially what I've seen from like a girl's standpoint as well, where a lot of girls, they go like to wherever, get their BBLs and whatever, and they're like, oh, look what I've done at the gym, and I'm like, right, that's
you're
like
telling
Brazilian
people.
butt lift.
Yeah.
So like literally, so they've gone and had this like
image.
literally they've had a surgical enhancement
Yeah.
and then they've said that they're getting it through physical exercise and eating right and stuff like that.
Look at the Kardashians and stuff like that. I'm not saying Kim doesn't. I mean, every bloody morning at 6 a.m. Kim's on that bloody step machine, isn't she? My early one, she is. But I'm not saying she doesn't work out, but it's an unrealistic standard that the everyday person can afford to get the fact out of the stomach.
I'm not saying to you have to go working out every day of the week. No. But there is something to be gained from doing some sort of physical exercise. Like our body, the way, when we talk about obviously historically and how our evolution's worked, we're not supposed to just sit at home. That's why a lot of us are struggling with isolation as it is.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to just sit at home and do nothing all day. You get out, and this is the thing, you never compare yourself to anyone. Well, I try not to anyway, from my perspective, and this is what I would advise to people.
But you're like super positive. You're like one of the most positive.
Honestly, you are. We were having this discussion the other day. We're just like, Opie's just such good vibes.
We're just like, do you know, this guy is just like a ray of sunshine.
Fantastic. It's fantastic.
Hey, but I, this is what I'm saying. I always say I'm grateful to my parents. My parents are very religious, but I'm not necessarily religious myself. But the one thing I took from my parents was always, whatever, if you need to say something, make it something positive. Even if, let me say, like, for example, some people at work possibly don't like this, but like something's going wrong at work and I'm going, oh yeah, but we can then do this. And some people are like, I just want to stay in my, you know, which I understand. Some people just want to be in that environment of, I feel shit about this, I want to deal, you know what I mean? Whereas,
let me just wallow for a bit.
I struggle.
I just be annoyed for a bit.
You know what I mean?
Like,
no.
This guy.
So sometimes I know certain people and I say, and once I know their behaviour pattern, I don't say, be upright. So I'll just be like, I know you're dealing with it your way. But if you can be in a situation where you make someone feel good about themselves, there's nothing, you don't take nothing out of your day. Like, you see a mate post a picture or something, a mate doing a podcast, a mate starting a business, you back it all the way. And that goes into body positivity as well. Your mate puts a picture up, hey, you be on that picture and you be putting all the love hearts, star faces, whatever you need. Hey, whatever you need to do.
Sharing it to my story.
The thing as well, if you think,
people think it's creepy as well. Like, I actually used to be one of those people that thought it was like really uncomfortable that people would compliment people so much, because like in our school environment, it went a nasty environment. I had a real nice group of friends. Like, no one was real nasty to me, but there wasn't like an open compliment scenario. So when I came to uni and I met my my best friend, sister, soulmate, wife, Jube, she had to teach me how to like take compliments, and like she taught me that saying compliments out loud wasn't weird.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think I still do have some more vibes.
And I feel weird complimenting people sometimes. So I used to compliment people in my head all the time, be like, oh my God, they look so nice. Like, they look beautiful. They're real fun or whatever. I never used to tell them. And then I used to watch Shub and see how these people reacted when she would say.
Do you think it's a British thing as well? Because
yeah,
I do know a lot of British people who don't do it. Like, I remember one time
people
being
get so
out at a restaurant.
Sarcastic.
Yeah.
You're
taking a biscuit.
Yeah.
100%.
I remember being out of a restaurant and this woman was staring at me. I was like, oh, like we're in the bathroom. I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck? And she goes, I've been thinking that you look really pretty in my head, but I feel like I just have to say, like, you always have to say if you think a girl looks nice. And I was like, oh my gosh, and it was just so nice. And I literally walked out that bathroom like...
Cut to the gay best friend outside has been waiting there 5 minutes.
Yeah, literally. But it's so mad, because I do think it is, like, as we were saying before, it is cultural, because I do know, like, a lot of British culture, it's kind of like, keep yourself to yourself. Like, don't... Yeah, but, like...
You would never in a club, if a boy speaks to you in the bathroom at a club, you know what I mean?
But have you
that's
all got
weird.
your dicks out though?
No, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Boys in the bathroom, in and out. I'm not speaking.
It's sharpish.
If I see my friend in the bathroom in a club, I'll speak to you outside. Like,
hey, I'll catch you outside, brother.
I see you got any lollipops?
Like, I'm actually...
You got any links, Africa?
Whereas for me, if I'm going to the bathroom, I'm rounding girls up. I'm rounding girls up on my way to the bathroom. Like, you got it.
Oh my God, we're putting the world to right.
I think there's a meme actually where like women are like, you come to the
oh yeah. But you know what? I think that it's taken a while for women to get there, like there in like that culture of like compliment someone or whatever. And I just remember being in uni being like, oh my God, why are people talking to me in the bathroom? Like, why are people being nice that I don't know? Like, what's your agenda? Is literally always what I thought. Like, what the fuck is about to happen? Like,
the happiest moment of my life is when I was on a night out in Liverpool. Like some kind of techno event back in your home turf. Techers.
I'm not there for the Techers, but I'm there for Liverpool.
I'm definitely there for the Techers.
And I walked to the bathroom and everyone was like, we're going. I was like, I need a walk with you to where it is and we'll go our separate ways, because I was with like 6 girls as always. And they were like, unisex bathrooms, and I thought, yes! With like, you just had like 2 sides of stalls, and then like in the middle was like a big shared thing, and I was stood there for ages like, oh, I just all missed out on all this positive energy. Someone's crying 2 doors down, there's 8 girls around saying, come out babe, it's alright, it's gone. Like, it's a dream. That's what you need in your life, positive vibes only.
But I think like, obviously when people have these scenarios in their lifestyle where they're not exposed to this sort of thing, they create really bad relationships with different things. So like, they might create a really bad relationship with exercise. Like, people do tend to think of it like, oh fucking hell, like, don't want to get on that, don't want. You literally used to be the biggest, like, honestly my biggest inspiration for being on gym. Where you're getting this energy from.
6 a.m. me and my friend Holiday, literally before uni.
This is wild.
Gym. Gym.
In the bar.
6 a.m. to 7 a.m.
When we were
go to uni, go to work at go to work for 10 hours, go to the gym after, go to sleep, and I'd go to the gym four times a week, twice a day.
You enjoyed that?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
And I think it's funny how people's relationship with those things change.
Whereas now,
I know when people aren't exposed, especially now, you know, in the pandemic where they're not exposed to people maybe in the toilets or whatever, giving them that hype where it's like, you know, it's not coming from a biased perspective. Like, even if my friends compliment me, I'm like, you're being biased, like whatever. Like, it's
you'll take it, wouldn't you? But it's
like,
it's just so crazy.
If they're not experiencing that, people are like turning on themselves big time. So they might have like this yo-yoing diet situation where I'll be like, I'm just not eating anything, I'm not doing any of this, I'm gonna work out every minute of every day, but they're hating the workout because it's coming from a place of like,
you're not
hating on
enjoyment.
themselves.
That's where I have to get to. I feel like I have to get to the place where I need to enjoy it again, where I'm like, I'm not going to work out now because I'm not in that place. Like, literally, even yesterday, I went on a 6-mile drive to Heavenly Desserts. Like,
but that's the thing.
I drove 6 miles and spent like
it's underrated,
10 quid.
Right? It's underrated how much that's
it's embarrassing.
That's a good thing. Like,
it's all in moderation, though, isn't it? But like, the relationship people are having with these things are crazy. Like, I can't even tell you how much I'm sick of talking to people about food and like how they need to stop eating shit and how they need to go cold turkey. I'm like, exercise to eat, bro. Exercise to eat.
I'll give this concept. Like, so I say to most people, whatever you do, if you overdo it, you'll ruin it for yourself. If you're gonna say you're gonna go into, let me say for example, I always say to people, if people want to go into fitness, I say to people, don't start by going on a 5k run. Go on a walk.
Because you will not want to do it.
Go on a walk. When you go on a walk, you start with a walk, and then you start with 2k. You start with 3k. But people,
that's so mad.
We have this concept in life where we always think we have to jump back into things.
Straight
it's immediate gratification.
Because everyone knows, like, I know,
5K like that.
I know exactly that when I go back to the gym, because like I used to say to Hannah, my warm up was like a 5k run every single time.
Well, that was when your body was
exactly.
Used to
And I know, I remember like it was the little split moment when the gyms were open for a bit. I went back, ran 1k, and honestly, I've never been humbled so much in my life. Honestly, I couldn't breathe. And then, oh my gosh, and then so basically at work, I was getting Subway every freaking day. So I was on the treadmill, couldn't breathe. And then the guy that always serves me was there at Pure Gym saying, "You're the girl that always gets the veggie patty."
I don't need a reminder, thanks mate.
And I was just there like, I have to jump off this.
This last lockdown for me, because I obviously never had an office job. I'm used to working in a bar where I'm on my feet for
literally 12 hours at a
more,
time.
if not more.
20,000 steps.
And it's literally like so much physical thing, and I never as well get a chance to eat when I'm working. Like, so I'd have a big meal a day pretty much, and it would never be like, never terrible, but like never that healthy. And it was this last lockdown, I'm trying to eat better, which is like I'm eating my grains and stuff like that, but I am eating more. than I normally would.
Actual like 2 meals a day.
And I'm not on my feet.
3.
Yeah.
But even when you cut,
this is the first time I've actually seen a change in my body in my entire life. That I'm like, oh,
you're like beating yourself up after Christmas.
That's
though.
what it is.
You're
I
like,
was bloated. I thought, is
he
this
was
what it's
literally
like?
being like, oh, this is horrible. This is horrible. Like, obviously, look at him. There's nothing of him, and he's like, I've got titties. Like, literally sat
after
there.
Christmas,
I
was.
But it's one of those when you do see a difference, like it does hit you in the face.
It
Like,
does hit you.
because I remember like even like
But you
the other day,
straight to hate mode.
yeah, the other day when we were
okay.
filming, and then I asked Dre to take a picture of me whilst I was on the sofa just to see how the lighting looked, and I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, I've gained so much weight since the last podcast. I literally gasped and Hannah was like, what's wrong? I was like, I've gained
Audible
weight.
gasp.
Yeah, it was
And obviously,
horrifying.
I can't tell if there's any weight change.
Well, you notice
like I would kill for that body. Do you know what I mean?
I can't fit in my jeans. That's when we're in trousers.
Yeah, but that's all right.
Romper.
This is all that fits me right now.
You have to understand the times we're going through. We're going through like a bit of a difficult situation. You get yourself, and I say to like people I message on Instagram, and I say to them, you don't look at your life right now and go, I'm gonna try and live life as it was before. You can't. You know, the things that are available to you now are not what they used to be. And you don't put yourself under that pressure where you're like, oh, I need to look like this. It's little small behaviours. It's like Callum said there, you just, I started having a bit more food, you know, and you change your behaviour little by little rather than try to, because I tell you this, I've tried it before where I'm like, I'm going to go on this extreme diet. I'm telling you, I last about 3 days.
Yeah.
I say to myself,
a lot of people, you go on diets, you
start 2 days more than me.
yourself, and then you're that hungry that you just think, I don't care.
Next time I see a cookie,
you binge, like you binge and purge.
If I see a cookie, I'm finished.
No, it's donuts, isn't it?
It's better for me not to walk by a donut shop. If I'm on a diet, it's better. But that's the thing, you don't, once you restrict yourself like that, I end up in a situation where I'd go, I'd go 21 days and I've done, and I'm like, I'm on this diet. And I walk by a donut shop and I buy a box of 10. And do you know what happens to that box of 10?
Didn't even say I buy
10,
buy a box of 10. I love it.
10.
I love it.
And that's what happens. But then I sit there after in that self-loathing.
Oh, the darkest of places.
It's a dark place.
It's a dark place.
He's
to
woke
be.
up in the morning spooning a donut box.
I've done that.
He
with
looks
a
like what
Parma.
happened last night.
You've done that with a Parma.
I've done that with a Parma.
It's actually
I've woke up with pizza
with my face on the donut.
Wrap stuck to my face. But I did that when I lived in Liverpool, and my mum was like, when I went to uni, she was
I do
like,
not love that
woke
look
up
for you.
cuddling any more wraps this morning. I was like, Mum, you're on my back. I like
there isn't a worse feeling though when you wake up after a night out and you're like cuddling a kebab. And you just like...
Oh, sometimes that's good.
No,
well, at least you don't have to move to get some food.
All I'll do at the end of the night is talk about food.
Yeah.
I don't care. I want to go get food.
Where would you get food from?
I'm tunnel vision on food. No one can speak to me in the takeaway because I'm like, give me my food.
Oh.
Get me. You've seen me because that is high priority in my life. I'm a horror. I'm like,
if she doesn't get food after a night out, like
I'm a
technically,
she's
she's
horrible.
No, she's created the calories.
To be fair, you've been like
energy.
Yeah,
you need that energy.
Yeah.
She is a nightmare. If I was like to her, we need to go home, or if something happened in the night where we just had to go home straight away,
I must get food.
We need to at least stay up an hour and a half to order something. Like
what? I'd rather
food.
For me, sleep over life.
And as well,
if I'm having to wait an hour and a half for food, are you man? I'd rather starve.
I've got Callum for you. Stay up.
Yeah.
I'll stay.
Wake me up when it's here.
But that's
food is there
as well. If I even said to her like, oh, I've got something at home that I'll whip you something up. She's like, no, it needs to be deep fried.
Yeah.
It needs to be greasy.
Horrible.
It needs to be.
I need to
hot
hate
in a
myself
box.
tomorrow morning.
I need to wake up thinking, what did I do?
Yeah.
Remember when we were at the after like back room sometime and we went to our garage near ours. And we first of all we'd left George in the club with some other people, and we just backdoored it because we thought we need food and go home. And we were crying laughing about this pot noodle, something like that ridiculous with the guy. This is
how much they know us in there because I've got to get food. Like when I come back from night out, we'll just be pissed.
Wait, you're telling me you went to like the petrol station?
All that was open. It was like 5 a.m. Like It was all that was open.
And
usually,
honestly, thank the Lord I've never been so hungry that I have to go to a petrol station.
And usually they have a window, like they don't let you in, but they know us so much they just went, oh come in, you're not gonna.
And then
rob
they'll
us.
lock out the crackheads.
Wow.
And we just get thrown
we browse, and it's like a BP Shell garage. So not Shell, what is it?
It is Shell.
It is Shell.
And it's so expensive. A bag of wine gums is like £2.50.
But you know what? It comes round full circle on your birthday, because last time they give me a cuddly toy. They give me I could pick anything I wanted from the bakery section.
You know when you become so familiar with the BP garage that they're giving out.
And that's the thing, he sees us in our worst states.
And they love it. Do you know what? They
but also at the same time, doing stuff like that
it.
happens, you're just a bit like, it's when I go into Subway and the guy's like, same as usual. I'm like, you know what? This is embarrassing.
Don't do that.
It's embarrassing.
To be fair, I've had
you didn't even cut the bread in half. You just gave it.
She's not gonna do this.
They just know. I've had times where I've been coming back from the gym and I went to Aldi for some foods, and when you're like eating your feelings. I'm an emotional eater, so I'm like, I'm eating my feelings, right? So I'm picking
Must
up
be
like,
nice.
I'll
starve myself to an inch of my life.
No, I wish that was me. You're like skinny legend.
The amount of times I've almost wasted away.
And literally, I've had, because they know me so well in Aldi as well, because I'm always in there every single day with this Don. Like, she was like, "Are you sure?" I was like,
I feel like, mind your own business, woman.
Like, I think my cousin and I,
could
in
never.
this instance as well.
Are you sure about that?
In this instance as well, my cousin had just passed away and I just found out. So I'd gone to the gym to try and make myself feel better. And then I literally was there like, I'm gonna get some like real dirty foods to make me feel good.
Donuts,
and she was giving me
jammy
this lecture in front of like 15 people. She was like, "Have you been to the gym?" And I was like, yeah. And she was like, "Are you sure you want to buy this then?" And I was like,
that's the thing.
Scan the motherfucker.
I'm not being funny. If I'm buying donuts and I've been to the gym, I'm doing better than you who are eating donuts without going to the gym. I'm not even being funny because I've worked the calories off to eat this, and you're just piling them on.
To this day, I avoid her when I buy shit food. To this day, because I know.
Say after the pod. Say after the pod.
I'll tell you which one.
I'm going to comment who it is.
But
I'm telling you, it's
defo
Sandra, innit?
That comment in that moment, even though I'm totally fine with what I'm doing, I've been to the gym and I know when I'm emotional eater, so I'm fine with that. But in that moment, that comment cut deep.
That's like, you should never comment on anyone that you don't know anything about. You shouldn't.
It makes me want to not eat any of the food I just bought.
But that's part of that self-image stuff, like body image.
I did.
Yeah. Part of the issue is we get a lot of people online now that have access to keyboards.
Putting in their 2 cents.
I post my picture on my gram.
Yeah.
If you ain't gonna say something positive about it,
stay
away.
Yeah.
But people feel the need to have to say something derogatory or. And that's the
actually
problem.
say bad stuff on your Instagram?
Yeah, sometimes. Well, yeah, sometimes.
Tell me their names
people
and
just
their
say
house numbers.
No, it's stuff like, oh, you're looking for attention, you're looking for this, you're looking for that.
Who says that? To be fair, I've had that in the DMs.
Yeah, you get, but like, it doesn't bother me.
But
I'm sorry, I cannot even fathom that people do. If
that's what I say.
If I got that on my Instagram, I would cry.
That's why I've made my gram private.
The thing is though,
because
I want you to go home tonight and make it public.
You're on my fitness one. You know, there's a fitness one.
Yeah.
So I've made my just my day-to-day one.
Yeah, that's private. Yeah.
Because I'm like, I only want people that are gonna be positive people. But if let me say, for example, you say something in front of my gram now that I don't appreciate, you find yourself on that unfriend list, sharpish. But I'm not. No, but there's not. Why would I put up with someone that's not there to support me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I've even had it in the past where I posted one of my morning insanity. Like, because it's not just for me. One, it's accountability for me, but other people are.
Some people get inspired by it.
Getting inspired by that, and I get messages.
I'll clock if she's not posted it.
Actually, it has the almost other side effect because I'm usually like, Anna's not posted. She's not worked out today.
Like, that's what I'm like. Sometimes if I'm in a really bad mood, whether I've worked out or not, you're not getting a post.
Did you oversleep?
She's been on Rose the night before.
Because I'm like, do you know what? I just can't be bothered seeing my own face this morning. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I've worked out and I feel good. I just really don't want to deal with my own face. But people have popped up before and been like, oh God, like that's attention seeking. Like, I'm just like, I feel good.
Well, it works.
Why are you in my DMs?
Well, I got your attention.
Why?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It works.
Also,
So.
Yeah.
as well,
Why are you in my DMs?
people talk about
to give
like,
me negativity.
People talk about seeking approval from others as if it's a bad thing.
No,
I so disagree. I think it's healthy.
okay.
If you want approval from your friend and you want to be liked, there's nothing wrong with that. If you rely on it, then there's an issue.
Yeah.
It's when
But
you
if you
tie
ha-
your worth.
How far you
But
go
if
to get that.
There's nothing wrong with wanting people to think that you like.
Yeah.
I wouldn't count it as seeking approval because I still don't think you should seek anyone's approval.
But I feel like if you don't care, it's
a good
sociopathic.
sounding
Do you know what I
board though. Like, there's nothing wrong with using your friends as a sounding board.
Yeah.
And if you're not particularly feeling confident in yourself or in something,
Just a
there's
quick
no
reminder,
problem with
just a
trying to
quick-
reassure
yeah,
yourself
yeah.
through your friends. Like, there is like, what else are you there for? If my friend came to me and they were like, do you know what, I'm feeling like shit today, I'ma absolutely hype you up. Like,
There's some days you don't even know you're
guaranteed
feeling a certain way.
you don't look as bad as you feel. Like, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that in the sense, but seeking approval, bit of an
No, but
iffy,
I think
bit of an iffy line for me.
I think humans in general, we're always looking for something. We're not just floating around without
Yeah.
thinking. So you're either going to be seeking approval or disapproval. Like, and that's what it
Approval
is.
is maybe
I think
not
that's
the word is maybe like you just wanting someone to support you, like someone
Yeah.
to. Because approval
But
sounds like you're
that's
basically
still
saying
that's still a
yeah,
form of
valid-
validation. though.
validation
It's
is the
still
word I was looking
validation,
for.
though.
Validation.
because approval feels like
It's
you're
the
saying
same.
you need their
It's the
permission
same.
to
But
do
that's
It's
it.
the
but I
same.
think that's just what that's just what we
It's the
that's the
same.
effect
I think
that
it's
we
the
put on the
connotations
word.
of the word.
Yeah.
Not
The
the actual word itself,
connotation,
because
yeah.
validation
It's the
and
same.
approval
They're
are
the
the
same
same
pretty
thing.
much, yeah.
Synonymous.
People talk about
Ooh.
seeking approval as a bad thing. I think it's a normal thing.
No, because if
'Cause
you
I
didn't want it, you wouldn't post it.
And you wouldn't do
sometimes.
anything. You wouldn't do anything if you didn't want anyone
I
to...
want someone to say to me, "You look nice," but if you're gonna say you look horrible, you might as well not say it.
Who would say
Yeah.
But
that?
just keep it to yourself. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying I'm a perfect human being, but if you're gonna say something and you feel it's not something constructive or positive,
What's the
just
point?
leave it off my. Just keep it to yourself. You can know about it. I don't have to know about it.
So with regards to all of everything we've spoken about, what would you say like needs to be more of an improvement from a male standpoint regarding body image? Like, what would help move forward the
Back each
situation
other.
and stigma?
Because
You
what
back each
I've
other
from
without
what I've
stigma.
understood, with what you said, it's just about being open and
Yeah.
honest.
Honest.
Discussions about it.
Yeah.
Just talking.
But like, would you think that you would be open to doing?
Because
that?
everyone
Or
knows
is
it's
that
just
bad?
talking, but would you
No.
talk? But would you talk?
No, that's
Nope.
thing.
No,
It's
but-
what should be done, and I don't think it's gonna happen
Again,
anytime
but
soon.
it depends. Depends on.
Sorry, I'm a pessimist.
It depends on circle. I would say.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because, like I said,
Yeah.
we have conversation and we have a circle where we do have these conversations. And
Yeah.
there's certain people, for example, that I say things to, and I can tell by their reaction that they're not used to people saying a certain thing to them.
Yeah.
So it then becomes, okay, can I keep reinforcing that behavior? So after a while, they start getting used to Opie just says things like that.
Yeah.
Opie just says...
That's so
you know,
true.
You know what I mean?
like-
So you get used to it. But then the question is, obviously, are other people in their life also positively influencing them?
Yeah.
That's where the... But
But
all
that's how
of it-
change. That's
yeah.
how it changes.
all of it comes down to you got to be accepting that men can be vulnerable. Men can be feeling insecure. Men can be feeling a certain way about their body. The reality, though, is we're going to have a situation where a lot of guys are going to go, why is he saying that? Why is he talking like that?
But this is where I'm saying, like, not you, but like,
Men.
people need to take, men and women need to take responsibility for the positive or negative influences they're having out there.
Yeah.
Like, if you're absolutely no problem if you're standing there taking a pose picture and you're looking your best, but also like break down that wall, maybe even on your story, on whatever, like just to show that
Make it more personal.
Yeah.
that you're not
100%,
like
yeah.
that, like
Yeah.
from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, because everyone's body does like
Change.
it changes throughout the day, and Lord knows it. But growing up, you would not think that, would
No.
you? You'd literally think, oh
Yeah.
my God, they look stunning from morning to noon to night. Like,
I think we should all just have the inhibition on Instagram that they say we should match the inhibition that we have at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
When we're on
It's
call
mad.
day.
It's mad.
And we don't care
It's
what we
mad.
post in
Yeah,
our stories.
yeah.
We need to have that
It's
freedom.
mad though, because when you wake up,
You delete.
I
Hey,
never
that
did.
story, that story
As
gets
the boy,
removed.
as the boy, I
Yeah,
like
man.
seen it yet. Oh gosh.
you just gotta
Delete.
firm it. You gotta firm it and
firm
leave
it.
it there.
No, I'm not gonna lie. There's certain stories you put up there. There's a target audience. And once the target audience has seen this
I mean-
said story, you exit immediately. It's like We're finished.
Target audience.
I don't think I've had a target audience.
You never
in
had a
God knows
target
how long.
audience?
You're a close
Not
friend.
not for like at least 2 or 3 years.
Target
Oh no,
audience.
not like right now. I'm talking about just in general. Like in general, there's sometimes when I've posted stuff when I'm like, there's actually maybe 1 or 2 people
that you want to see.
that I want to see this. I want the confirmation is in.
That's actually mad.
That's
I do it the opposite way around. I'm like, I'll
do it
put
for
whatever I
me.
want, but there's some people that I don't want to see. Like, I don't want them to see this. So that's when I go into my settings and go hide story from.
But that's where I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm reckless.
But I always think, what if they're with
What
someone
do you
that sees this story? That's my biggest thing. What if
I've
they're with
thought it all through, Callum. Your
You've
mutual,
lost the
your
friendship group.
housemate. They ain't
Closed.
seeing nothing. They ain't
Closed.
seeing nothing.
I'm actually reckless. Like
No, you
I'm
ain't
actually
seen
feeling
it.
reckless.
No, that's why I appreciate
I
close
do.
friend stories
Yeah,
because
but-
like there's sometimes you think someone's really.
When I see the
funny.
But for me,
I
I
know
need,
what's going on
but
there.
also I need categories. So just close friends isn't enough.
Close friends. If I'm gonna put a story on me ugly that's telling a funny story. Close.
I
friends.
need
Not that I ever
separate
do that.
You
things.
do that on your Snapchat.
Yeah, at 3 in the morning.
The only times I get Snapchat is from Callum when he's been up like there's like 4 in. He's like absolutely.
I've actually deleted Snapchat after.
He's
after
done for
after
this
New
reason.
For New
he's
Year's Eve
deleted
because I
it.
sent a random Snapchat on New Year's Eve and I don't know what it was and I had loads of people replying saying, haha.
What have I done?
So that was me done. I've like delete app. That's
What have
it.
I
need to
done?
grow up.
Literally.
I feel like the main takeaway for me from this podcast chat is just tell your guy makes it look gorgeous.
Hey.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
tell
From
him.
now
You
on.
can make
Tell
if
him.
you're open, you could do it because
Yeah,
I've
man.
felt the pain of it. So I know exactly what's getting.
Connect.
And my people know if I'm doing it, they know why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's just to
They
gas
look
you up.
gorgeous.
Just
I'll
need to
gas you
force
up
that on
endlessly.
everyone
Yeah.
though, so everyone gets a bit more comfortable with
Look.
it.
You look gorgeous.